Yeah, last week was good. We went 3-1. It was awesome. Cincinnati, we called that straight up. They won by a lot. Pittsburgh sucks. Don't be surprised if you see them on the this week's prediction list. Wouldn't be surprised if you see that. Just letting you know. Yeah, but everybody else did really well. Tennessee came back. They looked like they were going to be a little shaky. Arizona came back. They looked like shaky. And then fucking New England, man. Fucking New England. Sal Palantonio and all these dudes on ESPN telling me how good Mac Jones is. Saying, oh, their offensive line is amazing. Mac Jones is the second coming of Tom Brady. Dude's about to be Johnny Manziel in the Canadian League in the next couple of years. This guy's terrible. He can't throw the ball past 5 yards. You joking me? You just got blown out by Jameis Winston and the Saints, and it wasn't even close. Like, you got blown out. Like, when I say blown out, I mean it wasn't like, oh, hey, like 7 points. You know, it was like Buffalo versus Miami blown out. Like, you don't even really deserve to be talking about you right now. I can't even believe we're doing that. But we went 3-1. We won some good money, actually. DraftKings didn't win money last year because of freaking Adam Thielen. God, Adam Thielen. Don't you hate that? So it's just like the week before. We would have won a ton more money. We had like almost 10 times our money on week 2, but they went into overtime and Derrick Henry got a touchdown. So it cut us in half. Right? This week, Adam Thielen just decides to show up in the fourth quarter, catch 2 touchdowns for the game, and we lost all our money. Is what it is. Whatever, we got it this week. We're good to go. Okay, so we'll take a look at last week. I mean, I don't even know what to say, to be honest with you, man. The Chiefs, we kind of called that, though. I mean, we knew it. Like, they're still not playing. Like, they're still not. There's no urgency. They're just kind of playing backyard football like it doesn't matter. Like, it's okay. We'll walk into the playoffs. You got the best division of football. You got 2 3-0 teams and a team that just kind of put it on you, and they're 2-1. They should have been 3-0 because they should have beat Dallas because they got kind of screwed over on a couple penalties. Chiefs are not in a good spot. They better win this week. I'll tell you that right now. All right, let's get into week 4. Let's get into the lines on week 4 real quick. I know those are pulled up. So first one, I don't really want to talk about Jacksonville Bengals. It was kind of a rough game. Everybody looked bad. Bengals won like they're supposed to. They didn't cover the spread. Great. We would never have bet on that anyway. It's a terrible game to bet on. All right, number 1, Washington, Atlanta. This is a, shit show of a game. We don't even know who's good, who's not. I got Washington for sure, minus 1.5. I don't see Atlanta being able to score points, period. They couldn't even score last week. What makes you think they're going to be able to score this week? I mean, they couldn't even. They've scored 17 on New York. The Giants, worst team in football. Maybe not the worst team in football, but close to the worst team in football. I got Washington. 1.5 seems like easy. They should be able to kick a field goal. They might even win 3-0. It's just terrible. Okay, next one down. Detroit Bears. This is actually a good game to bet. We're not going to put this on the top 4, but it's a good game to bet because we don't know if Andy Dalton doesn't play. You take Detroit plus 3 all day. If Andy Dalton plays, you take Detroit plus 3 all day. Neither of these teams are good. I got Detroit easily. They looked a lot better. I mean, they got blown out by the Packers. I understand that. That happens. But last week they didn't play that bad against Baltimore. They almost beat them. They should have beat them. If it wasn't for a 66-yard field goal that hit off the crossbar and was the longest field goal in history, they would have beat Baltimore at home. So getting plus 3 points against a terrible Cincinnati or Chicago team, yeah, I'll take that. Not top 4, though. I'm not putting them in my top 4. That's not the one I'm betting this week. This one, Tennessee Jets. This is definitely something. I'm basically going to be betting against the Jets all year. The Jets look like they wouldn't even win in the SEC at this point. Tennessee looks pretty good. They're going to run the football. The Jets' defense, rushing defense, is almost last in the league. We're going to go with Tennessee minus 6.5 right now. That's a top pick on our top 4. If I lose that one, then I'm going to be pretty pissed, but I don't think I will because the Jets, they're going to be giving up touchdown after touchdown after touchdown because they can't move the ball past their own 20. Zach Wilson throws the ball and it's immediately picked off as soon as it leaves the hand. Every single time. It's ridiculous. It's like a cheat code. It's like one of those stupid cheat codes in NES. As soon as he lets the ball, it's just automatically picked. I've yet to see him throw a good ball. Seriously, it's been 3 weeks. He hasn't even thrown a good football. One good football. And then when he does, his receivers look like skillet hands, and it just bounces off their face, and then they get a pick. The Jets just look terrible. They shouldn't have got rid of Darnold. Now you understand why Darnold is doing really well. I mean, they won 4 games with Darnold. They might win 2 with with Wilson, but they're definitely not winning this week. Minnesota, Cleveland. This is a trap game when it comes to betting. This is not in the top 4. I'm taking Minnesota plus 2.5. And the reason why I call it a trap game is because we don't know which Vikings team is going to show up. Right? Is it going to be the Vikings team that showed up against the Bengals who didn't look good? Is it going to be the Vikings team that showed up last week that put it on the Seahawks? Which game or who's going to show up, right? The Cleveland Browns, same thing. Is it going to be the team that almost beat the Chiefs with a really, really good game plan? Or the team that came in last week and, barely put it on Chicago and did all that stuff like that, but they just don't play well. They haven't been playing well all week. I'm not taking that. I'm not touching it when it comes to actual money. But if I had to, I'm taking Minnesota plus 2.5 on that. Indianapolis Colts, Miami Dolphins. I'm taking Miami minus 1.5. Colts look like a team that's not good at all. They're supposed to be good. Quentin Nelson got hurt. He's their best player. Their left guard is their best player, if that tells you anything. They have nothing on offense, nothing on defense. Carson Wentz looks terrible. So Miami looks terrible as well. They both look bad. But it's at Miami. It's coin flip. This is not in the top 4. Definitely not doing this one. But I got Miami minus 1.5 on that if I'm betting that game. Next game, Carolina, Dallas. I am putting this one in the top 4. I take Carolina 4.5, plus 4.5. Now, I know Dallas is good. Carolina's got the top defense in the league right now. Dallas getting 4.5, or Carolina getting 4.5 points at Dallas seems a lot. It seems like a lot of points. Carolina looks really good. Dallas obviously does look good, but I think Carolina's a little bit better of a defense than Dallas has played all year outside of Tampa Bay. And the Tampa Bay game was within 3 points. So if you're going to give me 4.5, I'm going to take it. So this is number 2 on my list for the top 4. Carolina plus 4.5. We're taking the Panthers. They look good. Like I said, Sam Darnold looks like an actual football player now. They have a really good team. Their scheme looks really well. They're 3-0 when they really should be 1-2 based on who they played. But they look really good. They're overachieving right now, and I think they continue that against Dallas, who obviously is overachieving. I don't think Dallas should be 2-1. They've had a couple games where they look like they should be 1-2. So New Orleans, not touching this game either. Again, the only reason why we know the Giants are bad, we don't know which Saints team is going to show up. Is it going to be the Saints from last week that beat up on New England, or the Saints team that lost 38 or that beat up on the Packers, or the Saints that lost in week 2 by 30? If I had to take it, I'm taking the Giants plus 7. Just because it's you take the points. 7's a lot of points. I'm taking it. Next game, Eagles, Chiefs. I think Chiefs bounce back. This is not in the top 4 picks, though, but I would take Chiefs minus 7. The Eagles do not look good at all. Just in general as a team. The Chiefs need to get their shit together. They need to stop acting like they're better than everybody and start proving that they're better than everybody. Start actually playing like a real team. This goes back to what we talked about last year. They're missing Sammy Watkins. Now, is Josh Gordon going to be that guy that's that mid-level receiver that kind of takes away the, because what we got going on right now is Kelsey goes 5-10 yards, turns around, Hill takes off, takes the top over the defense, and you got a double team on him, and then you got everybody else kind of bunched up around the line around Kelsey, and then there's about 20 yards of free space that none of the other receivers seem to know how to find, and that's all Sammy Watkins used to do. Once you get a guy that catches 1 or 2 of those passes, it completely changes the defense for the rest of the game. So the reason why you haven't seen Hill pop off the last 2 weeks is because they're doing that. They're just cloud covering him every time he takes off. They're not giving him any screens. They're not using him on jet sweeps. It's basically like, hey, run as far as you can, and we'll see if we can throw it to you. So they need to find that third guy. McCole Hardman, not that guy. Byron Pringle, not that guy. Demarcus Robinson, not that guy. Maybe Josh Gordon can be that guy. He's a huge guy, very, very big, very fast. But he's old and he hasn't played for 2 years, so we'll see. But Chiefs are in trouble if they can't find that third receiver. They're in trouble, and they know it. The only reason they're in trouble is because they're in a tough division. They got this easy game. Eagles should be an easy game. They should win this game. I'm not betting it because 7's a lot of points, and we don't know how they're going to come out. They probably will cover. But then they have one more tough game, and then they have one off game. They have the Bills next week, and then they have kind of an off week against a pretty bad team, and then they have 6 teams that are all 2-1 or 3-0 right now. So they're going to have a rough schedule if they don't get it together. All right, Houston, Buffalo. I almost took Houston plus 17.5 because that is a lot of points, but it's Buffalo, And Houston's bad. I get it, right? And Buffalo's really good. I'm not taking this as a top 4 pick. This is not what I'm putting my money on, but if I had to do, I'm taking Houston. 17.5 points is like a college spread. You don't even get 17.5 points when you're taking Alabama versus, the Citadel. They give you minus, maybe minus 17. This is a lot of points. And Houston, that's disrespect to Houston. I understand they're bad. I mean, obviously they're not as good as the Buffalo Bills, but Bills look really good. But 17.5 points is way too much. I'd take Houston with the points. I know Bills are going to win, but 17.5, I mean, that's just crazy. Okay, next one, Cardinals Rams. This is in my top 4. I'm taking Rams -4. Right? The Rams just look unstoppable right now. The Cardinals offense kind of fluttered a little bit last week. Their defense really picked it up and scored a touchdown for us, which we called on DraftKings. They ended up being the #1 defense. There we go. But it's a division game. It's at Los Angeles. The Rams look good. Obviously, this is the game where I think the Cardinals kind of run into that wall where they've been playing really well. They've been beating the brakes off some people. They've been winning close games. I think the Rams come out. They win by a touchdown. I got Rams -4 as one of my top picks. Seattle 49ers. I don't know. This is difficult because we didn't think the 49ers were going to be that good. We thought Seattle was going to be that much better. It's the other way around, right? It's the other way around. Now, Seattle's not that good. They don't look very good. San Francisco looks pretty good. I'm not putting this in my must bets, but I'd take San Francisco -3 at home. Defense wins over that. I mean, Seattle just doesn't look. I mean, they got stomped out by Minnesota. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I don't know. I'm not liking Seattle right now. I think our pick for the Rams to win the division, obviously looking pretty good right now. But yeah, I'm not betting. It's not in my top 4, but I'm taking San Francisco -3.5 or -3. Ravens Broncos. This is the game of the week. This is going to be an awesome game to watch if you can watch it. I know a lot of people want to watch New England, Tampa Bay. Why would you want to watch that? It's going to be an absolute slaughter. I mean, Tampa Bay is going to murder New England. Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch Tom Brady run out to a bunch of boos and then go up 14-0 in the first 2 minutes of the game. Whatever. But Baltimore-Denver, this is a huge game for both of them because this is whether Denver shows, do they deserve to be at the top of the AFC and specifically the AFC West? And can Baltimore come back and bounce back and start, getting themselves back as a top team? This is a gatekeeper game, right? Denver, technically, for me, would be an AFC gatekeeper. They're not a top team in the division, and if you want to be a good team in the AFC, you got to beat them, right? This is Baltimore's test of, hey, we beat the Chiefs at home. We barely beat Detroit last week. Now we're going to Denver, who's a good team. I think Denver wins. I'll be honest with you. I think all the teams in AFC West make the playoffs. Well, that depends. I may have to amend that. We'll see how the Chiefs look against the Bills in week 6. Or week 5, sorry. But it is what it is. So this is my last one of the top 4 that I'm taking. I'm taking Denver +1. I think they win outright. I think they win by a field goal. More than 1 point, obviously. But I'm taking Denver +1 on this just because they're at home. They're getting points at home. They look really good. We're doing that. Steelers Green Bay. I was going to take this. I would definitely have taken Green Bay -6.5, but I had to take the Rams. The Rams just look like a better overall thing. Pittsburgh Steelers are terrible. The Cincinnati Bengals are better than the Pittsburgh Steelers right now. Big Ben needs to just go away. He looks really bad. Their defense looks okay. He looks bad. He looks old when he's running around. It's like one of those clowns in a rodeo. The clown with the barrel, he just looks like he's running for his life for every single time he takes a snap. I mean, it looks bad, and he needs to either start giving the ball to Najee Harris more or just retire. So I got Green Bay -6.5 easy on that one. That's my 5th one. That's the what if. If that was the last one, if I had to take one more, I'm taking that one. I like Green Bay. Tampa Bay, New England -7 is an insult to Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is going to win this by 20-something points. Tom Brady's going to make sure that they absolutely destroy the New England Patriots on primetime television in New England to make a point of Belichick, go fuck yourself, basically is what he's going to say. They're good friends, and I know this whole thing about the book and everything coming out where, everybody said it was Belichick's fault. Belichick's a great coach, but just Tom Brady, it's a different team. Tampa Bay's team makes New England look terrible. It's not even close. And Mac Jones is not the next Tom Brady. He's done. I don't even know why they keep saying that. People need to stop saying that. Monday Night Football, this might be the best Monday Night Football game we've had. Raiders-Chargers. At the Chargers. This is awesome. This is going to be a really good game. I'm taking the Raiders +3. I think the Raiders are a better team than the Chargers just because defensively they tend to be a little bit better. And here's my game breaker on this. Hunter Renfrow. If you don't know who Hunter Renfrow is for the Vegas Raiders, number 13, little white slot receiver. He reminds me of Wes Welker and the way that they run that and all that stuff like that. You need to watch him. If you can put him on your DraftKings lineup, it's probably not the week to do that because the Chargers have a good defense and they do pretty well at stopping the pass. But obviously, look what they did to the Chiefs. They kind of held them down pretty good. But Hunter Renfrow just finds spots. He was the same thing at Clemson. He's that guy, slippery dude. He looks like a less athletic Cooper Kupp. And Cooper Kupp's one of the top receivers in the game right now. And he's just smaller. That's all. The only reason why he's not as good as Cooper, he's just smaller and he's just as fast, just as shifty. He reminds me of Wes Welker. And if Derek Carr, who's playing the best at the quarterback position right now, has somebody like that and Darren Waller and Henry Ruggs over the top, they're going to be a very difficult team to stop. This team looks like the Chiefs 2 years ago. You know, they have the guy over the top. They have an all-star, like Hall of Fame tight end, but they have a shifty slot guy that is a bailout, and they have a running game, which the Chiefs don't have. That's the thing. I got the Raiders might actually win in this division. I know it sounds terrible to say that. They're a lot better than everybody thought they were. But I got the Raiders. If I'm taking this game, it's the Raiders +3. So when we go to our top 4 predictions, we got Tennessee -6.5. We're taking money on that. Carolina +4.5, taking money on that. Denver +1, taking money on that. And the Los Angeles Rams -4 against Arizona, definitely taking money on that. Okay, we'll see how we do last week. Again, this week we were 3-1. You know, we won pretty good money. I mean, if you put $20 on every single game, you can win a couple $1,000. Even if we went 3-1, we still won a couple of grand. So there you go. All right, so we're gonna go to DraftKings lineup this week. And this is going to be a fun one, right? So specifically because of who we got playing and who's not playing. So give me 1 second. I'm going to pull up the week schedule again just to make sure that we know why I'm picking who and all this other good stuff. So, all right. So I got quarterback Ryan Tannehill. There's a reason for that. He's cheap. He's mid-level quarterback. Allows me to pick up people like Derrick Henry. But they're playing the Jets. The Jets are terrible. They have no defense. I know A.J. Brown is out, but he'll be able to at least throw the ball enough to get me good points, and he could pop a few because Julio Jones looks really good. Really good. And so we're going to see. So I got Tannehill and Henry just because I think, playing the Jets, if you're not taking that, you should just be taking people against some of these bad teams. That's really what we're doing. If you look at what we have here, we're taking people that are playing against bad teams and hoping that they do what they're supposed to. Okay? Tannehill and Henry facing off against the Jets, they should go off. Singletary, Diggs, and Sanders, all from Buffalo, playing against Houston. Obviously, they're getting -7.5 points. They're 17.5 points. They think they're going to score points. Why not take their top 2 receivers and their running back who all had big weeks? I think they're going to have huge weeks this week. I know it's a lot of riding on the same team, and there's not that much ball to go around and everything like that. But if you watch the Bills play, which I have every single week, they spread the ball around. Josh Allen puts the ball in everyone's hands. Last week it was Emmanuel Sanders with a couple touchdowns, and then the week before it was Stephon Diggs. Singletary had a lot of rushing yards last week. I think they kind of spread it around because that's what the Buffalo offense is good at, and I think they all have good games. Devante Smith. The Chiefs have a terrible offense or terrible defense, especially pass defense. Mike Williams had a crazy week last week. Devante Smith is incredibly fast, and the thing that the Chiefs do play a lot is man-to-man, and they do a lot of press. So if the thought of Jalen Hurts running is going to allow somebody like Devante Smith to beat press and beat these crossing routes across the field, he's going to have a lot of open crossing routes where he gets good separation. He hasn't had a big week yet. He got kind of shut down last week. against Dallas, because Dallas's defense is actually really quick. Their outside backers and everything like that are actually really fast. Trayvon Diggs, Stephon Diggs is a brother, was a blanket on him, and he looks like one of the best cornerbacks in the league. The Chiefs don't have that, right? And you could see Jalen Hurts went to him a lot last week, trying to get him the ball because he needs to get him going. He is their star guy. I think he has a big week. Mike Gesicki, good thing about him, he's kind of a cheaper side of the tight ends, but they're playing Indianapolis. He's their only guy that they throw to. Jacoby Brissett just keeps throwing him the ball. You know, if he's only going to cost me $4,000, I'm going to take him. Let's do that. Flex, Rondale Moore against the Rams. The reason why this is bad, this could be a bad pick, it could be a great pick. Rondale Moore is shifty. He's a lot like Hunter Renfrow, which we were talking about, maybe a little bit more athletic, but he's the number 4 receiver on that team. And so that's the reason why I'm taking him, right? The Rams have one of the best defenses in the league. But the way their offense is set up, Rondale Moore is like a check down tight end or like a check down running back in that offense. And so he's going to be running for his life. Kyler Murray's going to be running for his life. And Aaron Donald and all those guys are going to be getting after him. Rondale Moore only cost me $4,000, which is really good because that's the reason why I have all these other guys that have a lot of points. He could have huge weeks. He's obviously shown that. 2 weeks ago, he put up almost 40 points. So if you can get him the ball in space, he does not have Jalen Ramsey going up against him because Ramsey's going up against DeAndre Hopkins, right? They still have Christian Kirk. They still have A.J. Green. They're going to play a lot of zone. He should be able to sit down and get a lot of catches. I'm hoping I get 7 receptions from him for maybe 70 yards and maybe a touchdown. But I just need him to get 14 points, and I'll be fine. And then the last one's the Packers, and this is me just disrespecting the Pittsburgh Steelers. It was perfectly fitting on how much money I had left. Obviously, you can see we have no salary left off, but I think the Packers come out and they just put it on Pittsburgh. I think Ben throws a couple of interceptions early. I think they kind of start realizing that he's not there. Now, Najee Harris may have a big game, but the Packers have a pretty good run defense. But fits perfectly. You're facing a bad offense. They still have 2 receivers that are out. This is good. This could be a breakout thing for us too. But I'm really relying heavily on my receivers, running backs, and quarterback. If I get and tight end, if I get any points out of the defense and flex, I'm going to score huge, right? I'm really banking on the other guys. They should put up big points, and so that's kind of where we're at. But, yeah, do you have any questions on anything? I think it's good. So I think we should win some money this week, to be honest with you. Big takeaway is disrespect out of nowhere for Texas. Like, holy crap. I know Buffalo's good, but 17.5 points? Are you kidding me? That is disrespect. So we'll see. I really like what we got going on here this week. I wouldn't be surprised if, it blows up in our face, but I could win a lot of money though too. You never know. I think I'm going to go 4-0 on my predictions, and then we'll just see how we go for the entire week next week too. We'll just let everybody know, like, hey, I know we went 3-1, but in week 3, if we go back and we look at everything, I think we went like 9-3 overall, which is pretty good. The Chiefs keep screwing us over, but it is what it is. They better not do it again this week. If they do, we're in trouble. So, but other than that, we're good to go. Week 4 looks like a good week. If you have any questions, please put it in the comments. Let us know. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we'll see you.